Guys, Whitney from the Holiday Homestead here. I wanted to give you guys a video, that's a part two of our chicken feed fermentation process. So about 3 weeks ago, I did a video that showed how we soak our chicken feed to kind of make the most of it, especially since feed prices are getting crazy. And so what I wanted to show was that I've actually kind of refined the process a bit and came up with a recipe that we use every morning. And I've been trying it out these past few weeks just to make sure that, it works for what we have in mind. And it really does work. So just to give you an idea, we have, we raise four different types of poultry. We have layers, we have meat birds, which are not the Cornish cross. We do white rocks and barred rocks for our meat birds. Um, and then we also have guinea fowl, which is new. We have some little keats, which are really cute. And then, what's the other one? Oh, and then quail, of course. And quail are for meat, mostly meat. We don't really use them for eggs. So anyway, so that gives you an idea of like what we're raising. And right now we're running about 55, 65 chickens between the meat and the layers, and also a few backup roosters that we keep for our breeding purposes. So we have quite a few chickens, and obviously, feeding them is kind of a struggle one way or the other. So let me just show you what we figured out as far as soaking the feed, fermenting the feed, and kind of how much we do. So we use pretty bargain basement chicken feed. We use Penny Newman, we use Farmers. Every once in a while, we'll use Nutrina if the feed store is out of our cheaper brands. And that's because we add a lot to the feed after we get it. So we usually add that in the fermentation process. So I'll just show you. In our little feed shed here. Let's see, this is the farmer's, oops, there we go. This is the farmer's best feed, and it's their layer crumble. This is the Money Saver brand. And it is just that. It is a lot cheaper, and it really doesn't have a lot of extras to it. And then over here, we've got the Penny Newman brand layer finisher. No, not layer. Broiler finisher in the pellets. When you are fermenting or soaking or anything else, I always prefer to use the crumbles because it absorbs the water so much faster. And so that's usually what I go for, like especially with the Money Saver from Farmer's Best. Their crumbles soak up the water and it's just perfect and it's great. The pelleted chicken feed just takes longer to soak. And so you have to remember to do it the night before so that it soaks up and has enough time to absorb. So if I can, I usually go for the crumbles. But in this case, our feed store was out of the crumbles this time, so I had to use the pellets for the meat bird feed. So like I said, this is for our layers, and this is for everybody else, basically meat birds or the roosters that we're keeping for breeding and getting different crosses. So of course, because I'm doing the different feeds, I have one bucket. It's a 5-gallon bucket that is just for the layers, and this blue one, different color, is just for the meat birds. So the recipe that I use is 5 pounds, no, actually, no, I'm sorry, 6 pounds of feed and for the layers, and that's 31 layers. And I use 5 pounds for the grow outs, and we have 25 or so of them. It could be more or less because I did add a few in and we lost a few, so it's hard to count chickens. Anyway, so that gives you an idea. I will say also the layer feed is a little bit less dense than the meat bird feed. Obviously, lower protein. That's about a 16% protein, and the meat bird finisher is usually, oh gosh, anywhere from 18 to 22. I think this one is about 22% protein. So it's really high because they're growing out, quickly to be ready for butcher. So anyway, so one of the things that we got as a part of figuring out our fermentation process to save money is we bought a scale. We bought this little, very simple hanging scale. We just put a nail up at the top there, use a real sturdy piece of something to hang it, and it comes with a hook. I think I got this off Amazon for like 20 bucks, 24 or something like that. You want to make sure that it goes up to at least like 30, 40 pounds. This one goes up to 50 pounds. So that's plenty, but you just want to make sure that you have enough, or no, not 50 pounds, 50 kilograms, that's 100 pounds. So the pounds are on the inside, kilograms are on the outside. Anyway, so the recipe that we use here is whatever number of pounds of dry feed times 4. Okay, 4. So, I'm going to hang this up. This scale has already been zeroed out for the bucket, so I already know that's good. And I just so I'm just pouring in until I've got 5 pounds. All right, and that is about right. Okay. So that is 5 pounds of feed in this bucket. Now I'm going to add the water. So and remember, the formula I said was whatever number of pounds times 4. So 5 times 4 is 20. So we're going to get this scale up to 20 pounds. Right at 20. All right, now let's see if I can lift a 20-pound bucket with one hand. Oh man, got it. Okay, so that is our feed. Notice the bubbles here. That is the water going through all of the feed. So if you want to, you can leave it like this and it will take care of itself overnight. Or if you want to see the process a little faster, you can stir it up. And I have an old axe handle I use for a really good stir stick. Hey, Timmy. All right. So you can see there's tons of water, but there's also a lot of dry. And so I'm just hastening this along. I'm stirring it up, getting all the way to the bottom. See all that dry right there? So I'm mixing that in, and you can see it absorb. This went from watery on the top all the way down to and now it's becoming like a pudding, basically. So that is what it should look like as soon as you're done. So we're gonna let that sit, and then we're gonna actually I'll just put that here. Okay, Timmy, move. This is our cat, Timmy. We have many cats, and he's one who really likes chicken feed, so. Anyway, alrighty, and then same thing here. This is the meat bird bucket. Sorry. So again, we're gonna do 5 pounds times 4 is 20. So we'll do the same thing. There we go. Okay. Oh, sorry. Nope. Almost. Hang on. Let's get the water. Here we go. All right, so we've got 20 pounds of chicken feed from 5 pounds of dry feed. Now you'll notice, like I was saying, the pellets take a longer time to absorb. So we're not going to see the same results. I mean, they're still pelleted form, and the water is a lot swishier. So the pellets will need to sit overnight, but they will look like this by the morning. And so already, like, you can see, it's still kind of soft and nice, but see, this is going to become a lot firmer, and all these little puddles will have dried up by the morning. Basically, what it looks like when you're doing it right, what it looks like is the crust of baked bread. You know, like, or like banana bread. You know, like when you make banana bread and there's like this lovely, like, kind of brown crust to it with the very top, and then like a kind of a light colored split down the middle, kind of all just gets all craggy and lovely. That's basically what the top of the bucket of chicken feed is going to look like by the morning when everything's absorbed. Everything is done, and it's just wonderful. The chickens really enjoy it because they they get a lot more moisture out of it, but also this makes the nutrients so much more available. When they eat dry food, they're shoving into their crop, right? And they're having to add all this moisture to it to kind of break it up. Then it goes in the gizzard and all that, you know, so it's really working hard. Their body is working very hard to break up the food and to get all the nutrients out of it. Well, fermenting it takes a lot of the work out of that process. So instead of the chicken investing all this energy and just to get the nutrients out of the food, the nutrients are far more available because they're already almost like pre-digested in a way. It also makes the most of the nutrients that are in cheaper food. So it means that if you do have to go from, you know, on really high quality organic down to something, you know, middle range or even lower end in terms of quality, or even for dusty food, a lot of people get a ton of dust in their food, it makes the most of whatever is available. I will say, not dusty, I should say powdery food. A lot of times with these lower end chicken feeds, they tend to be a little bit powdery. Like whatever process they're using to make the crumbles or the pellets or whatever it is, somehow they just get a ton of dusty, crumbly feed in there. And a lot of times that powder goes to waste because the chickens cannot pick up the tiny little grains of what comes out to be like almost like flour. It's so small. So adding water reduces or eliminates that whole problem because now that powder is incorporated into the body of the ferment, and it allows the chickens to be able to get it. So there's so many benefits to soaking, fermenting your food. It's just wonderful stuff. We've been doing it for about, I want to say about a year now. Basically, as soon as we started adding more chickens and seeing how much feed we were losing, especially as we moved further down into the kind of cheaper foods and adding more stuff to them. Um, so it definitely was a game changer for us once we realized that we could basically make 20 pounds of feed out of 5 pounds of dry food. Now, I've been talking quite a bit about the stuff that I add to it, so I'll just show you a couple things. Basically, on a daily basis, it changes for what I add to the chicken feed. Um, some of the staples are things like parsley, oregano, garlic. Those are all things I grow here. So basically, I just grab a fistful of something as I'm kind of walking by, gathering up a few things, and just throw them into the bucket. Maybe I'll kind of rip them up a little bit, but I just throw them into the bucket. So those are kind of as they're available. I also obviously do kitchen scraps, eggshells. Um, let's see, any food that we normally would eat. Cooked potatoes in moderation, I'm okay with that. I also do meat. I do eggs. Goodness, I do like scrambled eggs that the kids didn't finish, crusts of bread, bits of leftover meat after dinners. I'll throw those in. Um, and then also, one thing I definitely add every time is cayenne pepper. Always, 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 always. I am growing cayenne long peppers to start doing my own, but I always add um, this to the mix when I'm fermenting because it stimulates their immune system, it stimulates their laying systems. It is just good for them all around. It's just a little health boost. I used to use things like Rooster Booster. There's a type of granulated vitamins you can sprinkle in their dry food. I used to use that sometimes. I didn't really notice much of a difference, but with the cayenne, I noticed a difference almost immediately. Within, I would say, less than 2 weeks. I noticed brighter eyes, definitely redder combs, lots of circulation. This stuff gets them going, and a huge increase in laying. I mean, they've always had good layers, but even our older girls who were kind of fading out, where I was like, okay, it might be time to, move them along to the freezer. They suddenly just got this, reinvigoration of life, and so they're back in the laying game, which is great. So there's just a lot of benefits to cayenne pepper, and we've been using it, like I said, for about a little over a year now, pretty much as long as we've been doing the fermenting. So that's a huge thing, but definitely garlic for sure, because it does help with pests and does help with their general health. Let's see, those are the main things that I put in regularly. Everything else is just kind of whatever I have on hand and whenever it comes across. Like ginger, I'll put ginger root in sometimes, especially in the winter. That helps kind of give them a little warm boost. So anyway, so yeah, basically that's it. So these buckets here are gonna sit overnight. They still look a little watery on top. Don't be concerned if they look a little watery. Now, if you do add a little too much water, or you just when you come back in the morning and you look at it and you're like, that's just a little too loose. Like if there's standing water on top or something, you can either add a little bit extra, chicken feed just to absorb that top water. Or what I like to do is I usually have a little bag of some random grain. Our feed stores sometimes when they get damaged bags or bags got the tag ripped off, they'll sell just a mystery bag basically for like $5 or $10, and it's always a good gamble. You get something you can use. This time it was rolled corn, so I lucked out. That was pretty good stuff. So what I do, just grab a little scoop of that, and you can just sprinkle it right on top. That's all. And just leave it there for a little bit, let it absorb. And that'll soak up any extra water on top. Or you can just add your kitchen scraps and start shelling it out. Because even if it's a little too watery, if you have a good feed tray that holds it together well, the chickens will still make it work. My girls have never turned down little watery feed on account of the soupiness. They'll eat it, and usually they'll finish off most of it, or all of it actually. Oh, sorry, Timmy. Didn't see you there, bud. Sorry. Anyway, so guys, I hope that helped. Like I said, you know, if you have to go from kind of a upper end chicken feed down to something a little bit lower, don't worry. You can still add a lot of stuff to it that's going to make a big difference and going to still keep your chickens healthy. And you know, there's tons of stuff you can grow. If you do a little research, you can grow a lot of stuff that will help. I'm growing my own sorghum right now to see if I can add that to the chicken feed. Let's see, what else am I growing there? Amaranth, gonna add that. Corn, of course, sunflower seeds. You know, stuff to just kind of make the store-bought stuff stretch, so that you're able to either get off of it completely, which is always a goal, or to be able to just make it last longer so we can save a little bit of money. We're trying to do something, right? Anyway, guys, so I hope that helped. And yeah, happy chickening.